Hey guys, I'm Iulian with 2Pro Beats, and in today's video I want to show you how I use analog hardware when mastering. The two pieces of analog hardware that I'm gonna use today are from Tegeler Manufaktur. This is a company from Germany. I have the Creme that I bought last year. This is a VCA compressor with a pull-textile EQ. And recently, a few months ago, I got the Vari tube compressor. This is a really nice compressor. It adds some really nice character to the tracks. I've been using this combination for, I think, 6 or 7 months. I'm really happy with it. I use it on my tube bus. That's the main use for the Vari tube compressor and the Creme, but I also use it when mastering. And in today's video I want to show you how I use them. I have a track that's called Addicted. That's the song that I'm gonna use today. You can check the video for that track in the description. I mixed the track a while ago. Let's get into the video. As you can see, I have the track imported into a new project. For this track, I'm not using the project page. Sometimes I like using the song page, the regular one in Studio One. Let me play with just a bit of the track.
She made me feel like somebody. Pop a perky, I can't feel my body. Counting all these hundreds, I feel like somebody. I can feel it take over my body. Made a promise to myself, fall in love with nobody. But I'm falling in love with your body. Let her ride the day, now she calling me daddy. I pop a perk and she popping the addy.
So usually first in the chain is the Vari tube compressor. It's first because I want to add some character to the mix. Sometimes I'm using it just for that without even touching the gain reduction. Most of the time I'm doing 1 dB of gain reduction, so very gentle compression. When mastering, the compressor has a few controls. As you can see, it doesn't have a ratio control or a threshold control. The ratio changes based on the input right here. If you drive the input, the ratio changes. We have the output, so we can compensate. We have attack and release. In the middle, we have a bypass switch. We have 3 options for a sidechain. With the full, we can compress everything. We have 120 and a 60. Then we have a link, the 2 sides of the compressor, because this can be used as a dual mono compressor. And these are the controls. The compressor is really easy to use. I like the fact that the controls are dented, so you can recall your session with ease. Now I want to use the Vari tube compressor on the track.
I feel it take over my body. Made a promise to myself, fall in love with nobody. But I'm falling in love with your body. Let her ride the day, now she calling me daddy. I pop a perk and she popping the addy. She made me feel like somebody. Pop a perky, I can't feel my body. Counting all these hundreds, I feel like somebody. I can feel it take over my body. Made a promise to myself, fall in love with nobody. But I'm falling in love with your body. Let her ride the day, now she calling me daddy. I pop a perk and she popping the addy. She made me feel like somebody. Pop a perky, I can't feel my body. Counting all these hundreds, I feel like somebody. I can feel it take over my body. Made a promise to myself, fall in love with nobody. But I'm falling in love with your body. Let her ride the day, now she calling me daddy. I pop a perk and she popping the addy.
With the Vari tube compressor, I like using a slow attack and a pretty fast release. At the moment I have the attack at 8, the release at 1, so it doesn't grab the transients, but it really releases fast. On tracks like this with a heavy bass, with a heavy kick, with 808s, I like using the sidechain on the compressor. Sometimes I use it on the 60, most of the time I'm using it at 120, and because I have a stereo track, I have the compressor linked. That's the basic setup of the Vari tube compressor. I'm using it just to add some subtle character from the tubes. It does something to the track, especially on the low end. The changes are really subtle, but in the bigger picture, it does make sense to use analog hardware like the Vari tube compressor, like the Creme, to take the track to the next level. Now, let's add the Creme and see how we can improve the song. Let's engage the Creme. As the Vari tube compressor, the Creme has the same sidechain. I'm using it at the same position, 120. I'm using the compressor before the EQ, so I'm gonna start with the compressor. I like the 1.5 ratio on the Creme. I'm gonna use the release on auto and slow attack.
Pop a perky, I can't feel my body. Counting all these hundreds, I feel like somebody. I can feel it take over my body. Made a promise to myself, fall in love with nobody. But I'm falling in love with your body. Let her ride the dick, now she calling me daddy. I pop a perk and she popping the Addy. She make me feel like somebody. I pop a perk and she popping the Addy. She make me feel like somebody. Pop a perky, I can't feel my body. Counting all these hundreds, I feel like somebody. I can feel it take over my body. Made a promise to myself, fall in love with nobody. But I'm falling in love with your body. Let her ride the dick, now she calling me daddy. I pop a perk and she popping the Addy. She make me feel like somebody. Pop a perky, I can't feel my body. Counting all these hundreds, I feel like somebody. I can feel it take over my body. Made a promise to myself, fall in love with nobody. But I'm falling in love with your body. Let her ride the dick, now she calling me daddy. I pop a perk and she popping the Addy. She make me feel like somebody. Pop a perky, I can't feel my body. Counting all these hundreds, I feel like somebody.
So with the Creme I've added just a touch of compression. The low ratio, you cannot really hear the compression, but it's bringing everything together. Auto release, slow attack, threshold, just to touch the needle. On the EQ, I really like what the EQ does on 140. I'm adding 2 dB of 140, and for the highs I'm adding 2 dB at 18K. Now I want to do a before and after comparison.
I can feel it take over my body. Made a promise to myself, fall in love with nobody. But I'm falling in love with your body. Let her ride the dick, now she calling me daddy. I pop a perk and she popping the Addy. She make me feel like somebody. Pop a perky, I can't feel my body. Counting all these hundreds, I feel like somebody. I can feel it take over my body. Made a promise to myself, fall in love with nobody. But I'm falling in love with your body. Let her ride the dick, now she calling me daddy. I pop a perk and she popping the Addy. She make me feel like somebody. Pop a perky, I can't feel my body. So gone, I'm so gone. I might have to turn off my phone. Why won't they leave us alone? When we fucking, baby, leave the lights on. Get on top of me and ride me like a Kawasaki. Bend it over, flip it over like it's origami. I say, baby, can you work that? Twerk that, work that, twerk that, bounce that. And
It's not a night and day difference, but it adds that subtle thing that the track was missing. From this point, I usually go and process the track even further. Mid-side EQ, maybe other compressors, saturation, stereo processing like ozone imager, limiting to make the track loud. I really like what the Tegeler Audio Vari tube compressor and the Creme does for me in mastering. For me, the tube compressor and the Creme, it's a really nice partnership when it comes to mastering and when it comes to the two bus when mixing. I use them all the time. I really feel that the EQ on the Creme cannot be reproduced by a plugin. It's really open and the low end is really nice. I didn't find any plugin that can do that for me when mixing. That's why I keep the Creme on my two bus. And the compressor, I use it for color, just a small amount of gain reduction, or maybe no gain reduction at all, just for the saturation, just to pass the audio through the analog path and take it back into Studio One. It adds something that is really hard to reproduce in the digital domain. That's why I like using hardware when mixing and when mastering. I hope that you enjoyed the video. If you did, please subscribe, hit that notification button, drop a like, leave a comment with suggestions, follow me on Instagram, follow me on Facebook, and see you guys next time. Cheers.